Welcome to Theater Advice with OnStage blog, where we answer all your questions related to theater. I'm Greg. I'm part of the editorial staff of OnStage blog at onstageblog.com. And joining me today is the founder of OnStage blog and a man who's been involved in community theater for more than 25 years, Chris Peterson. Chris, how you doing today?
Hello, hello. Glad to be here. This is very exciting.
Of course, yeah. This is our YouTube channel where we will answer readers' email as well as Reddit questions about anything regarding theater. If you have a question you'd like us to answer, email us theateradviceosb@gmail.com. That's theateradviceosb@gmail.com. We'll be flashing on the screen. And today's question is going to be regarding how to get a director job in community theater. All right. This is a Reddit question. I'm going to show it on screen. This is from Reddit user. Oh boy, I'm not going to say that name. I'm not going to say that name out loud. Okay.
John Doe.
It's projectile. Why do people use these Reddit names? I just don't understand. I'll just call it projectile. This Reddit user projectile. I graduated about a year ago from a BFA acting program and looking to pursue directing work in my city before looking for an MFA program in directing. I've directed a few projects while in school and am currently directing a small scale project at a community theater. I would like to break into the professional directing world. Any tips for starting my journey? Networking, how to format my resume, how to find openings, how to write a good director's pitch, resources for improving my craft, etc., etc. Okay, so Chris, this person's probably in school, probably early 20s. I want to ask you more generally, any age that this could be. This person wants to get into directing. They've maybe had some classroom experience, maybe some small experience, but they just can't. They can't get that director's job. They're trying to direct, they can't. Chris, you worked your way up. You were an actor and you were a director of community theater for many years. Tell us about your experience, about how you got to be a first time director, and what advice you give to someone who's what's the best things they can do to be a community theater director to get their foot in the door.
Well, it really depends on the scenario, but at a community theater level, it's networking. It's networking. Getting into a theater, getting into a show, acting in a show, and then pulling aside the producer, pulling aside the president of that community theater group and inquiring about what it takes to direct productions here. That's how I did it. I was in a show at this small community theater in Milford, Connecticut. And during that process, because I directed in college, and that's really honestly my true passions lied, um, I inquired with the president of the theater group, who was actually in the show with me, on what was that process look like? What do I have to do? And so I learned about the pitching process. I learned about what they typically like to see in a proposal to direct a production. And to be quite honest, the first year I tried to do it, I didn't get picked. They didn't pick my what I had pitched them. So I tried the following year and finally got in on that end. So it's really about just knowing the process, meeting the right people, letting them know who you are, and then also being on your 100% best behavior anytime you're in the theater, because they want to say like, oh yeah, Chris, who was in that show, wants to direct. He was awesome in that show. He's a great person. You know what? Let's have him direct a production with us as well. So that I think is a way to do it. Now, if he was going the professional route, because it sounded like he also wanted to perhaps be open to potentially doing like regional theater and getting to professional things. Honestly, it's even a tougher journey, and that would involve honestly going back to
Right.
school and getting an MFA in directing. So
Mm-hmm. What would a producer look for to be able to trust a first time director? Whether I'm guessing it's not acting ability, right? I'm guessing it's organizational skills. It's how professional you are in the stage. That you're probably not a problem, but you tell me what
all of
would be the
those things,
top
and
things a
and that
producer
you're
looks
not
for?
and you're not crazy, that you're not going to be a problem during the production, that you know what you're talking about, and they usually get that in the proposal process. Now, most community theaters, if they're good, smart community theaters, there will be an interview process. So not only will you submit your written proposal of what you want to produce, but then they'll call you in for an actual, basically like a job interview, and you get to talk about your vision for the production. You get to talk about um how you might cast it, how you might design it. why do you want to do this piece in the first place? Especially if it's a piece that's not a well-known chestnut that's going to get, a lot of audiences automatically on the name alone. You really have to sell the production on that end. So all those different things that I think they look for. But first and foremost, you've got to be a trustworthy, organized, good person in the eyes of this theater, because they are entrusting you with a portion of a season that they need to survive on. And if this fails,
Yeah.
and I've seen it fail, honestly, I've seen community theaters that don't do their due diligence with directors and productions, and I've seen plenty of productions fold even before they open because of issues that they had with the director not doing the work that they were supposed to be doing. So if you're a community theater, it's like you got to go through those steps to be properly vetted. But yeah.
I didn't hear the word like pedigree in that. So it doesn't really matter what college you went to. It doesn't matter how many shows in particular you did. It just matters in terms of what the producer, again, just all the things you said. Is that a correct read on what you said? Correct interpretation of what you
Yeah, I
said?
would say. I mean, there probably are some, theaters out there that I would imagine if you went to one of the best acting schools in the country, that would probably be like, oh, well, he went to Carnegie Mellon, or oh, he's a Yale graduate from Yale School of Drama, so they must know what they're talking about. So you definitely will get some of those out there, but um, 9 times out of 10, like I don't think that's going to matter. I think they're going to base it off of your personality, your character, and what you've shown them at that particular theater. And it sounds like this person is already kind of on their way, because it sounds like they're directing some sort of program already. So that's the other thing too, is that like volunteer to direct the children's production, volunteer to direct the um, charity performance that raises money. That's technically like a review or something like that before you even try to do a main stage production. That could definitely get you in the door there as well.
Okay. Uh, when you say they should try and direct a children's production, I'm assuming you mean like don't direct it like they're Steven Spielberg or David Fincher, like directing kids, like this is my chance to shine, to show how I coach actors, right? We're just, in just terms of running a successful production on time, on budget, that's that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
and a lot of
This is
lot
not the chance to show, don't direct it like you're directing a Broadway production of Les Mis, right?
please don't. And I've seen a lot of theaters that will do a kind of like, oh, you want to direct with us? Awesome. Here's a small one act play that we're going to do this season. You can direct that, and they use that as like the first step. And if you kill it there, you can be able to do a main stage production with them in no time.
Yeah. Okay. All right, very good. Well, that wraps up this episode. So yeah, good luck to the Reddit user. Can you have a different Reddit name next time? I want to say the full Reddit name, on the screen. Nothing, no sophomoric humor, please. We want next time, your Reddit post will be disqualified from our channel. If you have sophomoric Reddit names. But anyway, good luck to them nonetheless, and hope they get a directing job real soon. Once again, if you have a question you'd like us to answer, theateradviceosb@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media at OnStage Blog on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. Also, check us out at onstageblog.com, where we have lots of theater content and problems and editorials that answer all sorts of questions. That you can go ahead and check that out as well. Lastly, please, if you like this content and you want to hear future theater advice, just make sure you hit subscribe. We appreciate your follows and all the watches, and spread the word if you could, please. All right, Chris. Thank you very much. We'll catch you next time.